What is blocking Libra? That is what today's message is about, or reading is about, I should say. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everyone is happy, well and healthy. For those of you that are new to Soul Embers, my name is Andrea. I'm an intuitive tarot reader, coach, holistic counsellor, and I practice alternative medicine. A massive shout out to all my existing subscribers. I wouldn't be here without your support, guys. I really appreciate you deeply, and I hope I can continue to deliver messages of inspiration, of hope, of healing, whatever it is that you need on your journeys, right? Okay, so guys, I have found that many of us already know the traumatic experiences that have led to the blocks that we have. And we also have an idea of what practices or strategies or steps we can put in place to help us work through those. Whether it be through discussions with our therapists or from, educating ourselves from the abundance of information that's out there, right? The problem that I find a lot of us face is that we find ourselves lapsing back into those unwanted patterns of behavior that we no longer want to identify with as a result of these blocks, right? And every time we lapse, we feel a huge sense of disappointment. It really impacts our self-worth, and the life or the relationships we envision for ourselves seems to get a little bit further each and every time. So with today's reading, I'm hoping to focus on the decisions you can make in the here and now. The small things you could do differently that will help you step into the character of the person that you do want to identify with. Rather than focus on the experiences or working through the experiences that lead to these blocks, so you can then make changes to your life in a way that doesn't have you lapsing. Let's do things in the opposite way, because that can become quite overwhelming as well. And maybe that is just another block that prevents you from, living your life the way you actually want it in your here and now as part of your lived experience. Although necessary to work on those things, sometimes we need to focus on what's happening here and how we can do things differently here. And it's kind of an organic process from there, right? So let's jump into it, Libra, and let's have a look and see what it is that you can do right now, what's happening right now as a result of this block, and how can you do things differently. Make one different decision, let's say today, that will help you step into the character that you do want to identify with. What have we got here? Okay, surrender to spirit, belief. It's that blind belief. It is just knowing that even if you don't know what to expect, even if you don't know what lies ahead, the uncertainty, the fear that comes with the uncertainty and the unpredictable, it's knowing that you have spiritual support that will get you to where you need to get to, right? Once you've done everything you can do to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. And I'm going to hold that card up so you can see. Hopefully the camera is focusing. And what I'm getting here, guys, is that I'm feeling that there is a need for you to have a deep conversation and a vulnerable conversation, and that's really scary for you. I feel that you have tucked away this unhealed part of yourself that's quite vulnerable, and it's very well protected. It's not something that you may think actually impacts your day-to-day life and how you go about interacting with others or those close to you, but in truth it doesn't allow you to deepen your connections in a way that you really want to, so that you can get the result from, you can get the result that you want, that you envision, for a healthy and fulfilling type of a relationship. And I'm talking about relationship here, but this is in general relationships. So you might find that you don't feel understood by those close to you. Even those that are really, really close to you, you may find that they just are not on the same page. They don't get where you're coming from. They don't understand how your experiences have impacted you, and you are sensitive to their comments about how you should do things and why you're not doing things the way you should be doing them. And they make it sound really, really simple, when in essence there is something that's really holding you back. And they may not understand that just letting that go isn't an option for you. It's almost like you retreat. You actually pull back your energy even without realizing sometimes. And there is this message that I'm getting for you, Libra, that even having a conversation that doesn't, where you don't explain yourself. This is not about explaining yourself. This is just about laying it all out. It's not about having a discussion, let's say. It's just about telling the person or the people that are involved where you stand in this moment. I'm not able to do this because of this and this and this reason. I know what I should be doing. I know how I should be doing it. And the more people highlight this to me, the more it impacts my confidence, the more isolated I feel. And I'm trying to achieve the opposite. So whether it be good or whether it be bad, or not that there is a good or a bad, but you get what I'm saying, no matter what your perceptions are, this is how my experiences have manifested this behavior. And I don't want to identify with that anymore, but I need to do this in a way that I feel comfortable with. And so just put it out there, just so they understand. And what you might find is that you don't feel that all eyes are on you. And if it has to do with one specific person, then the same applies, right? You won't feel that pressure to measure up or do things differently, to make them understand you or to bring them closer to you. It's about just accepting where you are in that moment. And what you'll find is that allows the other person to give you some breathing space, much needed breathing space, so you can feel safe enough to lean in, right? And once you've done that, that's about when you hand it over to Spirit. This is what it's about. It's about saying what you need to say and letting the pieces fall as they may. There may be some fear surrounding that, how others will respond. And, maybe you need to think about how you're going to communicate it in a way where it doesn't cause more distance, being diplomatic about your approach, but being completely honest about it. Taking responsibility, for who you are and where you're at, and being unapologetic for it, not, projecting responsibility onto someone else. That can also be a really helpful approach. So I'm going to pull out one more card before we close this off. Yeah. You know what I'm getting here for you, Libra? This is about taking action. This is about you conquering. It's about you rising above. And it's not about you showing up in a way that makes them understand you. It's about you showing up, conquering your own fear. Conquering your own fear of having this conversation. And you will only continue to make positive progress if you do approach it. This is a suggestion, it's a message, take it or leave it, whatever resonates with you. But by approaching it with, this is who I am, I'm taking responsibility for that, I do want to make a positive change, I do want to see my connections deepen, this is why I respond in the way I respond, I know there are many ways that I can approach it, I'm working through that, but you reminding me of how and when and whom I should do it with is actually not helpful. So saying it out loud, you'll be so surprised. Then handing it over to Spirit is about, just trusting the process. You'll be so surprised how empowering that conversation or that discussion will be. And the response you get from that will also surprise you. You won't see the same kind of response reflected in the person that's receiving this discussion as you have in the past over and over again. When you've defaulted to this defense mechanism, you get the same response. It doesn't matter whom with or the scenario. It may not be the exact same words, but in the end, you always end up feeling the same. It's about the feeling that you're left with after you default to these responses. So doing things in this way a little bit differently might actually change the narrative here, right? Okay guys, I hope you found that helpful. Comment below, let me know if you did. Hit that like button, it really helps the channel. It helps me. I appreciate you. Have a great week.